When Toyota unveiled the latest iteration of its best-selling midsize pickup, it appeared as though the Japanese automaker would maintain its lead in the market. Still, a lot of interesting stuff is going on these days. Tacomas are piling up on dealer lots for the first time in years. Is this merely a passing phenomenon? Perhaps the new generation is, as some experts have been saying, a bit of a letdown. Here are 6 startling explanations for why the Toyota Tacoma isn't selling well. Number 6. Prices. It's debatable whether or not the new Tacoma has lived up to expectations, but there's no denying that the vehicle has become extremely costly. The Tacoma's dependability, ease of use, and uncomplicated design have always been its secrets. Reasonable prices followed this. That is no longer the case. The disparity between the old and new prices is so great that it appears Toyota is targeting different clientele. The starting price for the base SR trim is currently approximately $33,000, which is $3,000 more than the previous price of the 2023 model. But that's only the start. The SR5 is already $5,000 more expensive than the model from the previous year, and the difference only widens as we move up the lineup. Take a look at the limited trim that is focused on comfort. The MSRP of that model was $42,850 just a year ago. It starts at $53,595 today. Thus, we're talking about a whopping $10,745 rise in just a single year. The starting price of the TRD Off-Road has increased by $5,000 to approximately $43,295. Number 5. Turbo 4 engine. Toyota has never been the most fuel-efficient pickup on the market, but its 3.5-liter V6 was super reliable, pretty much bulletproof like you would expect from a Toyota. While the new generation brought a radical change, the old V6 was replaced with a new 2.4-liter Turbo 4. From the moment this was announced, many Tacoma lovers felt disappointed. But after a few months of experience with it, it turns out that they were right because the new Turbo 4 engine didn't solve the most problematic points. For example, it didn't improve fuel economy all that much, but at the same time, the max output equals one of the previous generation's V6. Though we have to admit that the extra torque makes the ride slightly peppier, but at the same time the old V6 was smoother. Not to mention that most reviewers complained about the engine noise at heavy acceleration. Another thing that's hard to explain is why the base SR trim features a detuned version of the engine with just 227 horsepower instead of 278. But all these complaints wouldn't mean much if the new engine offered the same level of reliability and durability as the V6. Number 4. The cabin is still tight. The new generation of Tacoma has become more expensive, but it didn't get much more spacious. Moreover, we only saw minor changes to exterior dimensions, so nothing less was expected from the inside. Once again, the Tacoma is one of the tightest midsize pickups around. Of course, we're comparing the double cab version, which has brought a 1.1 in improvement over the previous generation in terms of rear seat legroom. That's nice to hear, but we expected more because the new Tacoma still features less passenger space in the second row than key rivals. For example, the Chevy Colorado is good for nearly 36-inch in this aspect, while the Ranger Super Crew is good for about 35-inch. Finally, the Gladiator dominates the segment with 38.3-inch. The same is true with other measurements, including head and shoulder room, where the new Tacoma still lags behind the competition. That's a bit of a shame, because we really like how the new Tacoma looks from the inside. It brought notable improvements in terms of build quality, while the massive, optional 14-inch infotainment screen dominates the dashboard and clearly suggests that the truck is crowded with all kinds of advanced tech goodies. Number 3. Towing capacity. We know that the work capabilities of a pickup aren't just about the numbers, but somehow many Tacoma lovers don't understand why Toyota can't keep up with the competition in this aspect. The recent redesign brought more torque, chassis reinforcement, and other things, but for some reason things went in the opposite direction when it came to max towing capacity. The new generation can tow less than its predecessor. But if we can rely on official figures, most trims, including light off-roaders, can tow between 6,400 and 6,500 pounds, which isn't a bad number. It's just that the previous generation was able to tow up to 6,800 pounds in the configuration. Moreover, key competitors are still way ahead. The Colorado and Gladiator can tow up to 7,700 pounds, while the Ford Ranger is good for about 7,500 pounds. Even the Nissan Frontier now features higher towing capacity, with the ability to pull up to 6,640 pounds. Some may expect the max capacity to increase with the arrival of the hybrid version, with its monstrous max torque figures, but that's not going to happen. According to our insiders, these models will be rated at 6,000 pounds.